Are you ready?
Yes.
I'm good. Okay. It's only the beginning of the flu season, and we've heard that the CDC is already reporting high flu activity across the U.S., and that the National Foundation for Infectious Diseases has partnered with the Emily Post Institute for the Are You That Guy influenza education campaign. Can you guys tell us a little bit about that campaign?
We're all about trying to prevent the flu and to treat it early if it unfortunately happens. The Centers for Disease Control has a Take 3 approach to influenza prevention. First of all is take time to get vaccinated every year. We want you to get vaccinated every year because the flu changes every year, and this is applicable to people from 6 months of age on up. It's everyone. So that's the number one prevention. The second thing is to take personal prevention measures. These are things like washing your hands frequently, coughing into the crook of your elbow, staying home if you're ill. Those types of measures are really also the polite thing to do, and Anna will talk a little bit more about that later on. And then the third thing is to take prescription antiviral medications if your doctor prescribes them. If you call your doctor within 48 hours of the time you begin to have flu symptoms, he or she might prescribe these for you, and these prescription antiviral medications should help you feel better faster.
So what does the flu look like? What are the symptoms and signs to be aware of?
It's really important to know some of the distinguishing symptoms of the flu because both flu and cold are respiratory illnesses, and there are some symptoms that are similar, and we know that people will use the terms interchangeably. But flu is a much more serious illness. Flu can kill thousands of people every year, and approximately 200,000 people every year in the U.S. are hospitalized because of flu or its complications. So it's really important to know about it. It's a serious disease. As far as flu symptoms are concerned, we like to use the word facts to help us remember the symptoms that are more common with flu than the colds. Fever, aches, chills, tiredness, and sudden onset. The sudden onset in particular is something that I want to focus on because usually colds are gradual onset. Flu is sudden onset. You feel like you've been hit by a ton of bricks, aching all over, beginning to develop fever. That's the time to give your doctor a call.
Okay, what if it's your child? Are there ways to tell if your young child, your baby, has just felt like, the bus just hit them?
Yes, I think babies and children are tough because their symptoms may be a little bit different than adults, and obviously they can't tell you necessarily what's going on. But if you have concerns about it, especially again if there's fever and the child stops eating, sometimes children will even have GI symptoms, diarrhea or vomiting when they get the influenza. Please call your pediatrician or your family medicine provider. Give them a call right away. Let them help you sort things out because children too can receive prescription antiviral medication if they develop influenza. We also have a very nice resource available at flufacts.com to not only give parents some resources to learn more about the flu, but if the child's old enough to be coloring, he or she can take this coloring book and learn a little bit about flu prevention. It's called Are You a Flu Fighter?
That's it. What was that site one more time?
It's flufacts, one word, .com.
Perfect. Okay. So we know what the symptoms are, we know what the signs, and we know to call the doctor. There are some other things that we'd like to go over, though. For example, what if we're at a holiday party and someone comes up to hug me or shake my hand, but they're sick? How do I politely decline so that I don't bring it home to my own family?
Sure. Well, first off, we're going to hope that that person knows to stay home, but since they didn't and they are out instead and you see it coming your way, you can sort of put your hands up in front of you and smile and say, forgive me for not shaking hands, but it's great to see you. You don't have to say, I don't want you getting me sick. You don't have to say that part. You can just keep it short and sweet and simple. And if you know them well, you might say, listen, you don't look so hot. I think you might have the flu. You should head home. You should call your doctor. So for people that you do know, you can have that conversation. It just needs to be caring rather than judgmental.
Right. What if it's a holiday party with kids and, your nieces or nephews that look sick or have the runny nose or that you're a little concerned with? They're wanting to play with your child. How do you approach that situation the most politely?
Sure, you've got really two options here because you don't want your kids getting sick, obviously. If you know their parent very, very well, if it's a niece or nephew, it's obviously family, you could say to their parent, hey, look, little Susie really isn't looking so hot. I'm worried about the flu, especially since it's so contagious. And that might alert the parent because flu can come on very suddenly. Maybe they hadn't noticed. Otherwise, it might be time, if the other parent isn't going to take their child home, might be time to pack it in, disappointing as that might be.
Okay. What about for traveling over the holidays? A lot of people are going to be on planes. What's the proper etiquette if I'm sick?
Yes, if you're sick, try to keep it, if you must travel, of course, preference is if you're sick that you're staying home and you're not out around people. But cough into the crook of your elbow, cough or sneeze into a tissue, and then throw that away. Don't do the handkerchief where you hold on to all of those germs and viruses. Keep alcohol-based.
Don't stick it back in your pocket.
Right, exactly. You don't want to carry that with you. Alcohol-based hand sanitizer is great. Get that travel size that'll go through TSA so that you have that with you either for you or perhaps that person next to you who might be coughing or sneezing. You might helpfully offer and prompt and maybe help give them a little hint to cover up themselves.
So you can offer hand sanitizer to the stranger sitting next to you?
You can, or a tissue, and it might, whichever works more easily for you. You could also simply turn to them, smile, be friendly. You might be on the long flight with them, and say, would you mind covering your cough? Thanks. Just keep it short, sweet, and not judgmental.
And if they can't take a hint?
If they can't take a hint, that's when you want your hand sanitizer with you and at least turn yourself away from them. If there's other seats on the plane that are open, say it's a plane or, if it's a subway or a train, get up and move yourself. If it's the plane, you can always ask, politely of the airline attendant if there's any other seats available.
Okay. Well, are there any other tips or advice that you can give to our members?
Check out that flufacts.com, both for that coloring book and to track the spread of flu in your area, especially with holidays coming up.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.